Well, hello. How are you? Well, this evening we're supposed to be talking with Joshua T. Berglund of Gratitude Unfiltered, and he is such a dynamic guy. But I have to tell you that it has been rescheduled, and I don't know when we're going to be on, but we will be on with Joshua. I talked to him personally, and he's just not able to make it. Something has come up. I totally understand these things do. Yeah, they happen. And so we'll be getting back with him because I want to introduce him. He is such a dynamic person. I just really love listening to him. He has been, or I should say, well, gosh, and I didn't do well. Yeah, kind of rushed I was. I got in late, but nonetheless, Joshua, I've been listening to him for a couple of years. We're going to get together with him. He's not able to make it for those that are coming in. He had something come up, but I have this tonight. I think it's really appropriate as well. The 7 Day Mental Diet, this book right here by Emmet Fox. And it's so appropriate being Love Friday. I just can't wait to get into this. I started it. Now, this is going to be something I'm going to ask. I want you to do this with me. Okay. I don't want to do it alone. I want to do it with others. I want to do it for myself, but it's really awesome. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but Dr. Emmett Fox, he was born in like 1886. Um, and died in like August 31st. So Dr. Emmett Fox was a New Thought leader. I don't know if you're familiar with New Thought. I have studied New Thought, by the way. Um, I have a higher power. I call that God. He talks a lot about spirituality. I'm a spiritual, person having a human experience. And so I did study New Thought. And he is an author, a healer, a minister, and encouraging millions with his views of health and inner peace and success. Now, he passed away August 13th in 1951. This is actually a picture of him. And so he's not with us anymore. But I tell you, if you will do this with me, it's going to be the most dynamic thing and probably one of the toughest things you've ever done in your life. And right now, is the time to try and do something like this with there's so much negativity out there and fear and anxiety about what's going on in this universe that this is going to give us the ability to be able to control how we're dealing with it. And he says this, and so it's just so appropriate for Love Friday. It's things always happen for a reason. I wish Joshua was here, but that's okay. He will be here. We'll have him in the future. But this is how the book starts out. It makes no difference how deeply seated may be the trouble. How deeply seated may be the trouble. How hopeless the outlook and how muddled the tangle. How great the mistake. A sufficient realization of love will dissolve it all. And that isn't that beautiful? Now, I'm going to go to the comments, and if you do have a comment or you're wondering what maybe more explanation or something, or have a comment about this, please, I want to hear it. So, yeah, welcome, Melissa Osborne and Rachel. Welcome, 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 and everybody else that is watching. So, I'm asking for you to follow along with me. This is going to be one of, like I said, the most dynamic things. You do this, and I promise you, 7 days from now, we're going to be different people. We're going to be happy people. We're going to be the people that we are supposed to really be. Okay. Okay, get ready for this. The 7 Day Mental Diet. The subject of diet is one of the foremost topics of the present day. And it's really important to the public. Newspapers and magazines teem with articles on the subject. The counters of the bookshops are filled with volumes unfolding the mysteries of proteins, starches, vitamins, and so forth. The whole world is food conscious. Experts on the subject are saying that physically you can become the thing that you eat. I've got to stop with hamburgers. Good evening, Adam. Welcome. And I've asked everybody, if you have something to say about this, let me know. Let me just pop up a couple comments here. Adam, welcome. Rachel's ready to join me. I want you to join me too. This is serious. This is going to be one of the hardest things we've ever done, but it's going to be one of the best things we've ever done. And I can't believe I didn't mute that out. Darn it. Okay. Live and learn. All right. Melissa Osborne is with us. Welcome, Melissa. Thank you. Okay. So let me just get back to the banner. Oh my gosh. If I this keeps up on me, I'm just going to be so sorry. I really don't mean to do that to y'all. All right. So get to the comments and let me just undo this one. Okay. So here we go. The whole world is food conscious. Experts on the subject are saying that physically you become the thing that you eat, that your whole body is really composed of the food that you have eaten in the past. What you eat today, they say, will be in your bloodstream after the lapse of so many hours. And it is in your bloodstream that it builds all the tissues composing your body, and there you are. So we are what we eat. Well, of course, no sensible person has any quarrel with this. It's perfectly true as far as it goes. And the only surprising thing is that it has taken the whole world so long to find out. But in this article, he's going to deal, if I can get to the right page, with the subject of dieting that is infinitely more profound and far reaching in its effects. I refer to the course as mental dieting. The most important of all these factors is the mental diet on which we live. It's the food which we nourish our minds that determines the whole character of our life. It's in the thoughts you allow yourself to think, the subjects that you allow your mind to dwell upon, which make you and me and our surroundings what they are. As the days, so shall thy strength be. Everything in our life today, the state of our body, whether it's healthy, whether it's sick, the state of our fortune, whether prosperous or impoverished, the state of our home, whether happy or the reverse, the present condition of every phase of our life, in fact, is entirely conditioned by the thoughts and the feelings which we have entertained in the past, by the habitual tone of our past thinking, and the condition of your life tomorrow, next week, and next year will be entirely conditioned by the thoughts and the feelings which you choose to entertain from now onwards. Just talking about past, present, and future the other day, living in the moment. So what we do know is that we operate off our subconscious, and our subconscious is the tapes that play. Okay, and so some of them were real healthy. I know that a lot of mine weren't really healthy, so I had to change my thinking. So we're going to do this 7-day mental diet. Oh boy, that did something to the screen, and it's going to be awesome. In other words, we choose our life. That is to say, that we choose all the conditions of our life, and when we choose the thoughts upon which we allow our mind to dwell, thought is the real causative force in life, and there is no other. Everything is thought. That's what I say. Everything starts with a thought, and then it takes an action plan, right? This means that we cannot change our environment while leaving your mind unchanged. Nor, and this is the supreme key to life and the reason for this article, you can change your mind without your environment changing too. This is then the real key to life. If you change your mind, your conditions must change too. Your body must change. Your daily work or other activities will change. Your home must change. The color tone of our whole life must change for whether you be habitually happy and cheerful or low spirited and fearful depends entirely on the quality of mental food upon which we diet ourselves. Please be very clear about this. If you change your mind, your conditions must change too. We are transformed by the renewing of our mind. So now you will see that your mental diet is really the most important thing in your whole life. This may be called the great cosmic law, and the truth is seen to be perfectly obvious when once it is clearly stated in this way. In fact, I do not know of any thoughtful person who denies its essential truth. The practically different The practical difficulty in applying it, however, arises from the fact that our thoughts are so close to us that it is difficult, without a little practice, to stand back, as it were, and look at them objectively. Yet it is just what you must learn to do. We are going to learn this together. Moods, habitually entertained, produce the characteristic disposition of the person concerned, and it is in his disposition that finally makes or mars happiness. You cannot be healthy, you cannot be happy, you cannot be prosperous if you have a bad disposition. If you're sulky or you're surly or cynical or depressed or superior or frightened half out of our wits, our life cannot possibly be worth living. I've been there. Unless we're determined to cultivate a good disposition, we may as well give up all hope of getting anything worthwhile out of life. And it's kinder to tell you that very plainly that this is the case. If you're not determined to start in now and carefully select all day the kind of thoughts that you are going to think, you may as well give up all hope of shaping your life into the kind of thing that you want it to be, because this is the only way. In short, if you want to make your life happy and worthwhile, which is what God wishes us to do, we must begin immediately to train ourselves in the habit of thought selection and thought control. This will be exceedingly difficult for the first few days, but if you persevere, you will see that it will become rapidly easier. And it is actually the most interesting experiment that you could possibly make. In fact, this thought control is the most thrillingly interesting hobby that anyone could take up. You will be amazed at the very interesting things that you will learn about yourself, and you will get results from almost the beginning. Now, many people, knowing this truth, make sporadic efforts and from time to time control their thoughts. But the thought stream being so close, as I have pointed out, and the impacts from the outside so constant and varied, that they do not make much progress. That is not the way to work it. Your only chance is to form a new habit of thought which will carry you through when you are preoccupied or off your guard as well, and when you're consciously attending to the business. This new thought habit must be definitely acquired, and the foundation of it can be laid within a few days. And the way to do this is like this: make up our minds to devote 1 week to the task of building a new habit of thought. And during that first week, let everything in life unimportant as compared with that. We put it first priority, this new thought. If we'll do that, then that week will be the most significant week in our whole life. It will literally be the turning point for us. If you will do so, it is safe to say that your whole life will change for the better. In fact, nothing can possibly remain the same. This does not simply mean that you will be able to face your present difficulties in a better spirit. It means that the difficulties will go away. We're going to get rid of it. You've heard me say this. Release the past. That's what we're going to do. This is awesome. Are you ready? I hope you're ready. I hope you're listening. And if I have to read this again, yes, yes, Rachel's ready. Rachel is ready. Sandy, you're ready? Yes, let's get ready. What happens is that you apply the law, and then the conditions change spontaneously. The universe answers our thinking. That's what happens. You can't change conditions directly. You have often tried to do so and failed. I've done it. I said it this morning. I tried to quit drinking so many times, thousands, God knows thousands, and never did it until I did the things that I have done and that I still do to this day to change it and be released from the obsession and be released from the tapes that used to play. Things get tough, go have a drink. Oh my God, she broke up with me. Yeah, take some drugs. Go get wasted. No, no, not anymore. Don't have to do it because of this, because of what we're going to do here. I'm going to read it again. What happens is that you apply the law and the conditions change spontaneously. You can't change conditions directly. You have often tried and to do so and failed. But go on the 7-day mental diet and conditions must change. This is then your prescription. For 7 days, you must not allow yourself to dwell on a single moment of any kind of negative thought. You must watch yourself for a whole week as a cat watches a mouse, and you must not, under any pretense, allow your mind to dwell on any thought that's not positive, constructive, optimistic, or kind. This discipline will be so strenuous that we might not be able to maintain it consistently for much more than a week. But he asks us to do this. A week will be enough because by that time the habit of positive thinking will begin to be established. Some extraordinary changes for the better will have come into your life, encouraging you enormously, and then the future will take care of itself. The new way of life will be so attractive. It'll be so much easier than the old way that you'll find yourself mentally aligning with it automatically. It's just going to just happen because it's a routine. And so we're going to reprogram by releasing all the bad stuff. He says this is what we're going to do for the next 7 days. Do not allow ourselves to dwell on a single moment of any kind of negative thought. We must watch ourselves for a whole week as a cat watches a mouse. And we must not, under any pretense, allow our minds to dwell on any thought that is not positive, constructive, optimistic, or kind. It's not going to be easy. But the 7 days are going to be strenuous. I would not have you enter upon this without counting the cost. Mere physical fasting would be child's play in comparison, even if you have a very good appetite. The most exhausting form of army gymnastics combined with 30-mile route marches would be mild in comparison with this undertaking. But it's only for 1 week. That's it. We just have to do this for 1 week and we're going to change our lives so drastically. It's going to be so awesome. As I said, it's not going to be easy, but together we'll do it. Let's reach out to each other. Let's reach out to each other. Just like Sandy says, she hopes she can do it for a whole week, but we can be there for each other. Let's just make each other, everybody that wants to be a part of this, accountability partners and get through this. But it's only for a week, and it'll definitely alter everything for the better for the rest of our lives, for all eternity, in fact. Things will be utterly different and inconceivably better than if we had not carried through with this undertaking. Do not start it lightly. Think about it for a day or two before you begin. So we can do that. Let's just think about it for a few days. Think about it for a few days before we begin. Then start in, and the grace of God goes with you. And so, what we're going to do is we're going to start thinking about the fact that we're going to not think about anything negative or unkind or unhappy or that's not positive. We're going to start recognizing that we're about to do it. The whole idea is to have 7 days of unbroken mental discipline in order to get the mind definitely bent in a new direction once and for all. If you make a false start, or even if you go on well for 2 or 3 days and then for any reason fall off the diet, in other words, if we think something not positive or hateful, yeah, if we fall off, the thing to do is to drop the scheme altogether for a few days and then start again fresh. Okay? So this might take some time, but the more that we work at it, sooner I gotta hide that. I'm being blocked. The sooner we do it, and the more we do it, the It's going to change our thinking, and it's going to just then it will become routine. It won't be hard soon after we do it. So remember that Rip Van Winkle in the play would take the solemn vow of teetotalism and then promptly accept a drink from the first neighbor who offered him one, saying calmly, "I won't count this one. I've done something like that. Only one. One's too many, and a thousand's not enough." Something that alcoholics know about. Well, on the seventh day of the mental diet, this is the sort of thing that simply won't do. You must positively count every lapse, and whether we do or not, nature will. Whether there's a lapse, you must go off the diet altogether and then start over again. So I guess when we do it, then we start for another 7 days. This is going to probably get us actually to what I know that they say, scientifically speaking, it can be about 21 days. But after we've been doing it for about 3 weeks, and the same thing, and our whole mind and focus is going, don't think negative. Don't think negative. I am positive. I am positive. I am happy. This is where the affirmations are going to come in. This is where it's going to come in. But after we probably, by the time, if we even had to go 21 days, maybe more, who knows? We'll do whatever it takes, but we'll get there. And once we get there, then it's going to be so much easier. So now, in order, if possible, to forestall difficulties, he'll consider them in a little detail. First of all, what does he mean by negative thinking? Well, a negative thought is any thought of failure, disappointment, or trouble, any thought of criticism or spite or jealousy or condemnation of others or self condemnation, any thought of sickness or accident, or in short, any kind of limitation or pessimistic thinking. Any thought that is not positive and constructive in character, whether it concerns you yourself or whether it concerns somebody else, is a negative thought. Okay? So don't bother too much about the question of classification of it. However, practice that you will never have any trouble. That never have any trouble in knowing whether a given thought is positive or negative. Even if your brain tries to deceive you, your heart will tell you the truth. Second, you must be quite clear what this scheme calls for is that you shall not entertain or dwell upon negative thoughts. Note carefully, it is not the thoughts that come to you that matter, but only such of them as you choose to entertain and dwell upon. So we can get the thought, but if we start thinking about it and spend any time with it and start talking to ourselves about the negative thing or something about somebody that isn't positive, back it down, stop it, change it. I am happy. I am positive. I love that person. Something like that, right? Note this carefully. It's not the thoughts that come to you that matter, but such of them as you choose to entertain and dwell upon. It doesn't matter what thoughts may come to you, provided you do not entertain them. It's the entertaining or dwelling upon them that matters. Of course, many negative thoughts will come to you all day long. Some of them will just drift into your mind in their own accord, seemingly, and then they come to you out of the racing mind. It can happen. Other negative thoughts will be given to you by other people, either in the conversation or by their conduct. Or you will hear disagreeably news, perhaps by letter or telephone, or see crimes and disasters. Well, yes, announce it in the newspaper headings. We got it going on. That's why this is going to be so important. Remember, we are the light in the darkness. We have these seeds of greatness within us. We are going to be the calm in the storm for the others. I've got too many friends right now that are scared to death. It needs to stop. It needs to stop. It's going to be okay. We've talked about what to do. We all know what to do. to stay healthy and to avoid catching the virus. People need us right now. Our friends need us. Our family needs us. So we, by doing the 7-day diet and not entertaining any of this negative stuff, are going it's going to be exceptional. I can't even express it. It's like I'm excited. I read the book once before. I started it, but now I'm starting with y'all. That's what I'm doing. Because Joshua Berglund didn't make it tonight. He had to reschedule for me, but that's okay. Joshua will be with us, and we'll get to be inspired by him in the future. We will. Okay. So, of course, many negative thoughts will come to us all day long. Some of them will just drift into our mind of their own accord, and some of them will come to you out of a racing mind. Other negative thoughts will be given to you by other people, either in conversation or by their conduct. Or you'll be hear disagreeable news, perhaps a letter or telephone call. You'll see crimes and disasters and announced in the TV and the newspapers. Okay. These things, however, do not matter as long as you don't entertain them. In fact, it's these very things that provide the discipline that's going to transform us during this epic making week. I used epic, 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 EPOCH, making week. That's what we're headed into. Isn't that awesome? Yeah. The thing to do is directly when the negative thoughts presents itself, turn it out. Release it. Turn away from the newspaper. Turn out the thought of the unkind letter or the stupid remark or whatnot. When the negative thought floats into your mind, immediately turn it out and think of something else. Best of all, think of God as explained in the Golden Key. Remember what I said this morning? If you happen to be watching, I said, God has always loved us. Always, always. That was there for us. And when I turned my back on it, my life was terrible. When I opened my mind to it, my life got good. And if it's not your God, we're talking the creative consciousness. We're talking the universal flow of love. That's what we're talking about. When negative thoughts float into our mind, immediately turn it out and think of something else. A perfect analogy is furnished by the case of a man who was sitting by an open fire when red hot cinders flies out and falls on his sleeve. If he knocks that cinder off at once, without a moment's delay to think about it, no harm's done. But if he allows it to rest on him for a few moments, under any pretense, the mischief is done, and it will be troublesome task to repair that sleeve. So it is with a negative thought. Now, what of those negative thoughts and the conditions which it is impossible to avoid at the point where we are today? What of the ordinary troubles that we will have to meet in the home or the office? The answer is that such things, negative experiences or conditions, will not affect our diet provided that we do not accept them. By fearing them, by believing them, by being it, or sad about them, or by giving them any power at all. Any negative condition that duty compels you to handle will not affect your diet. Go to the office or meet the cares at home without allowing them to affect you. None of these things move me, and all will be well. So that's an affirmation for us to use. So we're going to experience this stuff. It's going to happen. We'll get the thoughts. That doesn't mean we start over yet. If we spend any time thinking about it, yes, then there's a problem. Okay. Then we would have to start over. So we're going to have it happen. Suppose that on coming home, you're greeted with a lot of negative conversation. Don't preach a sermon, but simply just don't accept it. It's in your mental consent, remember, that constitutes your diet. Suppose you're a witness at an accident or an act of injustice, let us say, instead of reacting with pity or indignation, Refuse to accept the appearance of the face value. Do anything you can to right the matters, give it the right thought, and let go at that. You will start to be on the diet. Of course, it will be very helpful if you can take steps to avoid meeting during the week anyone who seems particularly likely to arouse the devil in us. It can happen. People who get you on your nerves or rub us the wrong way or bore us or better avoided while we're on the diet. We just need to avoid these people. But if it's not possible to avoid them, then we must take a little extra discipline. That's all it is. Suppose that we have a particular trying ordeal before the next week or the week is up. Well, if we have enough spiritual understanding, we will know how to meet that in a spiritual way. But for our present purpose, I think that we would wait and start the diet as soon as the ordeal is over. And I'm not saying that we need to put it off till after the virus thing. We need to start this now. As I said before, do not take up the diet lightly, but think it over well first. In closing, he wants to tell us that people often find that starting this diet seems to stir up all sorts of difficulties. It seems as though everything begins to go wrong at once. This may be disconcerting. It might be God trying us. you know, He's going to try us. That's where the it's not going to be easy thing because all of a sudden we might get bombarded by just bad stuff. But there again, just go back to it. Remember, it's all how we look at it. It's all our perceptions, all how we deal with it. It's all how we think about it. So it means that things. He says that it may be disconcerting, but this is really a good sign. It means that things are moving and that it's not the very object we have in view. Suppose our whole world seems to rock in its foundations. Hold on steadily, let it rock, and when the rocking is over, the picture will have reassembled itself into something much nearer to your heart's desire. The above point is vitally important rather than subtle. Do you not see that the very dwelling upon these difficulties is in itself a negative thought, which has probably thrown you off the diet? The remedy is not, of course, to deny that your world is rocking in appearance, but to refuse to take the appearance of that reality. Judge not according to appearances, judge righteous judgment. It happens, but we don't have to say that it's bad. A closing word of caution. Do not tell anyone else that you're on this diet or that you intend to go on it. Keep this tremendous project strictly to ourselves. Remember that our soul should be the secret place of the Most High. When you have come through the 7 days successfully and secured your demonstration, allow a measurable time to elapse to establish the new mentality. And then tell the story to anyone else who you think is likely to be helped by it. And finally, remember that nothing said or done by anyone else can possibly throw us off this diet. Only our own reaction to the other person's conduct can do that. Powerful, powerful. So on the very back it says God is life. I understand that and I express it. God is truth. I understand that and I express it. God is divine love. I understand that and express it. And we are children of God. We can do this. It's not going to be easy, like I said. Let's join together. Let's be there for each other. Let's support each other in this endeavor of just not entertaining negative thinking and work through this. And when we're done, because I'm human too. I can have negative thoughts. I've said it before that I don't tend to dwell on stuff. It's not like, for example, before when I was drinking or using drugs, that I sat there and for decades said how much I hated myself. Ah, you're just better off not here. Boy, I just was. It's self pity. Yeah, that's what I recognize it as today. But my point is that what I wanted to see. That's what I thought. Until changed my thinking and recognized that it could be better and didn't dwell on the ugliness of it, but dwelled on the what could be good in it, it changed. It did change for me. And it can change for all of us. And it takes this repetition. I've said it before. Consistency, repetition, day in, day out, the positive affirmations. I've got them on the YouTube. Go onto the YouTube, check it out. Stephen Smith, Live with Nature, the LWN Foundation. We got 3 choices up there for you. I'll post more of these guided affirmations of self-love. I want you to know how much I love you. I want you to know how much I appreciate you taking time to come and join me this evening. I recognize that I had said that Joshua would be here. He called me at a few minutes to 7 as I'm working on getting the broadcast. He had to reschedule. We will see Joshua soon. I want you to have a great weekend. I want you to, you know, do the 7-day mental diet. Let's do it together. Let's stop thinking negative. I don't watch news very much anymore. I do get news. I'm not saying I don't, because I do. I get news. I get news before people even see news, because I'm looking at the press releases and stuff, and I look at some specific stuff. But this situation is not going to stop us. This pandemic is going to make us stronger. It's going to bring us together. God is screaming at us to do the right thing here. So we don't want to entertain those thoughts for any more than the moment of it coming into our mind and then releasing it. When we do this consistently, our life will change. The affirmations, the consistency. We can overcome the obstacles and we can break through the barriers that have been holding us back. And we can go on to live a very high quality of an enjoyable life. We'll be better for ourselves, for our families, and everybody around us. And that's what this whole thing is about for me, community and sharing. God bless you. Have a great, great Friday. And let's have a great weekend. Let's enjoy ourselves as best we can under our circumstances. And I will certainly be back on Monday. I might come back sooner than then because I can go take a walk. Probably just turn on the video and do some walking and whatever because I want you to know I'm here for you. If I can help you in any way, reach out, send me a direct message. In the meantime, this is Stephen Smith. I am Sarasota, Florida. Have a blessed and wonderful evening tonight. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you soon.